Hello there. Welcome to the Sleep Discovery Channel. Tonight, we're going to drift gently through the edges of understanding into the questions that science, even now, cannot yet answer. For every law we've written, every atom we've split, every equation we've solved, there are still mysteries that stretch far beyond our reach. They live in the folds of the universe, in the deep oceans, and within our own minds. Science has brought us closer to truth than ever before. And yet, the more we discover, the more we realize how much remains unknown. Some of these puzzles stretch across galaxies, woven into the stars and black holes. Others are hidden right here on Earth, in the rhythm of time, the chemistry of life, and the thoughts flickering behind your eyes. These are not just questions. They are invitations to wonder, to imagine, to rest inside the mystery itself. So as you listen tonight, let each unsolved question become softer, like a tide pulling you towards sleep. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to drift. If you enjoy wandering through these quiet corners of science, feel free to leave a thought or share this moment with someone else who dreams with curiosity. It helps others find their way here, too. But for now, there's nothing left to do. Just breathe and let these questions carry you. We still don't know why the universe exists at all. It's one of the oldest, deepest mysteries. Why is there something instead of nothing? Physics can describe how the universe behaves once it's here. Cosmology can trace its expansion back to a single instant, the Big Bang. But what came before that? Why there is a universe to begin with? No one can say. Some physicists believe that nothing isn't truly empty. Even in a perfect vacuum, particles flicker in and out of existence, like whispers in the dark. Maybe the universe itself arose from one of those flickers, a spontaneous spark born from instability. Others imagine a vast multiverse where countless universes bloom and fade, each with its own rules. If that's true, ours might just be one bubble in an infinite sea. But even that only deepens the question. Why should the multiverse itself exist? Why should reality be at all? Some philosophers suggest that existence is inevitable, that non-existence simply isn't possible, that something in some form must always be. We may never test these ideas. No telescope, no collider, no theory can measure the reason for being. Everything we know, every star, every atom, every thought, rests upon this one unanswered mystery. The spark that began it all remains hidden. We can trace the story of the cosmos back nearly 14 billion years, to an age when everything was dense and brilliant, a fireball of pure energy. We call it the Big Bang. But what caused it? No one knows. For a fraction of a second, the universe expanded faster than light itself. That period, known as inflation, shaped everything that would ever exist. But what triggered it, and what ended it? Some theories suggest that inflation was a quantum tremor, a ripple in the fabric of reality. Others imagine cycles of birth and collapse, universes breathing in and out across eternity. But there's another possibility, that time itself began with the universe. If that's true, then asking what came before the Big Bang may be a meaningless question. Our instruments, the Hubble, the Planck, the Webb, can peer deep into the early light of creation, but none can see the very first moment. The origin of time and existence remains hidden behind a veil we may never lift. Time always flows forward, but no one knows why. Every moment, the present becomes the past. We remember yesterday, but never tomorrow. A glass can shatter, but never unbreak itself. This one-way motion is called the arrow of time, yet the equations of physics don't require it. On the smallest scales, particles can move forward or backward in time with equal consistency. To the math, there is no preferred direction. So why do we feel time moving one way? Some scientists connect it to entropy, the gradual drift from order to disorder. The universe began in an incredibly ordered state and has been winding down ever since. But no one knows why it started that way. Others believe the arrow of time merges from how information spreads or from the expansion of space itself. Whatever the cause, we are trapped inside its current, drifting from past to future, never able to turn around. Time defines every heartbeat, every sunrise, every thought, and yet its true nature remains one of the deepest mysteries we live inside every day. Most of the universe is invisible. When astronomers measure how galaxies spin, they find something strange. Stars at the edges move far too fast, as though held by a hidden force. If gravity worked only from the visible matter, those stars should drift away into space. But they don't. Something unseen holds them together. We call it dark matter. Dark matter doesn't glow, and it doesn't block light. No telescope can see it, yet we know it must be there, because its gravity shapes everything we can observe. Galaxies, clusters, even the web of the cosmos itself. Some think it's made of exotic particles we've never detected. Others believe it could be black holes or something even stranger. Decades of experiments have searched for it, deep underground, in mountain labs, and in the vacuum of space. So far, nothing. Whatever it is, it outweighs ordinary matter, 5 to 1. The stars you see in the night sky are only a small fraction of what truly exists. The rest is hidden, a silent framework of gravity and mystery holding the universe together. Somewhere in the vastness of space, an invisible force is stretching the universe apart, faster and faster, and no one knows why. In the late 1990s, astronomers studying distant stars expected to see the cosmos slowing down, its expansion easing under the pull of gravity. But the opposite was true. The universe wasn't just expanding, it was accelerating. Something unseen was pushing galaxies away from each other, a mysterious energy built into the fabric of space itself. We call it dark energy, but that name only marks our ignorance. Dark energy makes up almost 70% of the entire universe, and yet we cannot see it, measure it directly, or explain it. Some scientists believe it's a property of empty space, a constant pressure that keeps space itself expanding. Others imagine it as a dynamic field, changing with time. Still others suggest that our understanding of gravity may be incomplete. Whatever it is, its presence decides the future of everything. If it remains steady, the stars will drift farther apart until only darkness remains. If it grows stronger, it could one day tear galaxies, atoms, even space itself, to pieces. We can measure its effects, but we cannot touch its essence. Dark energy is the quiet hand, shaping the destiny of the cosmos. The laws of physics themselves seem balanced on a knife's edge. If gravity were just a little stronger, the universe would have collapsed too quickly. If it were weaker, galaxies might never have formed at all. If the forces that bind atoms were even slightly different, matter as we know it could not exist. Everything, from stars to life, depends on constant so precise that even a small change would make the universe lifeless. This puzzle is called the fine-tuning problem. Why should the laws of nature have exactly the values they do? Some say it's coincidence. We just happen to exist in a universe that allows beings like us to ask the question. Others imagine a vast multiverse where countless realities exist, each with its own laws, and we are simply one of the lucky few. But there may be deeper rules still hidden, a principle that forces the universe to take this precise, delicate form. For now, we cannot say. What we can see is a cosmos improbably suited for life, as though existence itself was fine-tuned for awareness. And then comes the next question. Does the universe go on forever, or does it end somewhere? The observable universe is enormous, about 90 billion light years across, but that's only as far as light has traveled since the beginning of time. Beyond that horizon lies something we cannot see. Perhaps space stretches endlessly, an infinite ocean of galaxies repeating without end. Or perhaps it loops back on itself, a cosmic sphere with no edge, where, if you could travel far enough, you might return to where you began. Astronomers search for clues in the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background. Its patterns may reveal the universe's shape. So far, it looks nearly flat, but not perfectly so. If the universe is finite, it is vast beyond imagination. If it is infinite, it is a paradox we cannot fully grasp. For now, we stand at the center of what we can see, and beyond that, everything fades into silence. Some scientists believe that our universe is not alone at all, that somewhere beyond our cosmic horizon others exist, endless, invisible, each with its own laws of physics, its own stars, its own histories. This is the idea of the multiverse. It's a bold theory, one that stretches science to its philosophical edge. In some versions, new universes constantly form, bubbling into being like foam on an endless sea. In others, every quantum event splits reality into countless branches, each one as real as the next. It could even explain the fine-tuning mystery that we live in one of the rare universes where life is possible. But there's a problem. If other universes exist, they may lie forever beyond our reach. No light, no signal, no evidence could ever cross the boundary between them. That makes the multiverses beautiful, as it is frustrating. It may be true. It may be imagination. For now, it remains an idea hanging between science and wonder. Still, the possibility that reality is larger than everything we can see, that somewhere out there, countless other worlds are unfolding right now, is one of the most profound mysteries we can dream of. Space and time themselves may be illusions, woven from something deeper. Einstein showed us that space and time are not fixed. They bend and stretch, shaping the flow of light and the movement of planets. But at the smallest scales, quantum physics tells a different story, one of uncertainty, of particles that flicker and blur. These two visions of reality, relativity and quantum mechanics, work perfectly on their own. Yet, together, they refuse to fit. What is the fabric of reality truly made of? Some theories suggest that space-time emerges from information, a vast network of quantum connections that builds the illusion of distance and flow. Others say that time itself is not real at all, that it's a construct of perception, a rhythm created by consciousness to make sense of change. We may never know for sure, but every second that passes, every breath we take, is shaped by this invisible framework, the silent stage upon which the universe performs. And beneath that stage, perhaps, something deeper still is waiting to be found. At the smallest scale imaginable, the universe behaves like a dream. Particles appear and disappear, cause and effect blur, and the rules we live by, the solid, logical laws of the everyday world, begin to dissolve. This is the quantum realm, a place where certainty ends. Here, an electron can be in two places at once. A particle can tunnel through barriers that should be impossible to cross, and the simple act of watching changes what is being observed. Physicists can describe these effects with breathtaking precision, but they cannot tell us why they happen. Why should the universe care whether something is being observed or not? Why should matter behave differently under the gaze of awareness? Some say this is simply probability, the mathematics of measurement. Others whisper that consciousness itself may play a hidden role, that the act of perception might be part of how reality chooses its form. We don't know, no experiment has revealed the full truth. All we can say is that beneath everything solid and certainly is a sea of potential, a shimmering quantum fog that becomes real only when we look. Gravity, the most familiar force in the universe, is also the least understood. We can describe how it works, how it shapes the paths of planets and bends the fabric of space. Einstein's equations predict it perfectly. But why gravity should exist at all, why it has the strength it does, remains unknown. Compared to other forces, gravity is astonishingly weak. A simple magnet can lift a paperclip, defying the pull of the entire Earth. Why should the force that binds galaxies be so delicate at the atomic scale? Physicists have searched for answers, for hidden dimensions, for quantum particles called gravitons, for clues that might unite gravity with the rest of physics. But so far, nothing has fit. We live in a universe whose most visible force is also its most mysterious. Perhaps gravity isn't a force at all. Perhaps it's an illusion, a side effect of something deeper, like the way heat emerges from motion or sound from vibration. Whatever it is, gravity remains the whisper that holds the cosmos together, the invisible hand that keeps the stars from drifting apart. For over a century, science has lived with a quiet contradiction. On one side, Einstein's relativity, a smooth, majestic description of space and time as a single, curved fabric. On the other, quantum mechanics, a flickering, unpredictable world of probabilities. Both are true. Both work perfectly in their own realms. And yet, they refuse to agree. At the heart of a black hole, where gravity crushes everything to an infinitely small point, the two theories collide, equations break, numbers lose meaning. Reality itself falls silent. Some scientists search for a grand unifying theory, one elegant equation that will tie together the cosmic and the quantum, the infinite and the invisible. They call it quantum gravity. String theory is one attempt. It suggests that everything, particles, forces, even space, is made of tiny, vibrating strings of energy. Different vibrations create different particles, like musical notes in the symphony of existence. It's a beautiful idea, but we have no proof. The strings, if real, are smaller than anything we can measure. Others believe space itself is made of discrete units, like the pixels on a cosmic screen. That reality is digital, not continuous. That time too might come in tiny, indivisible quanta. Whatever the answer, It waits at the edge of understanding, where mathematics becomes philosophy and science drifts into poetry. Even light, the most familiar thing in the universe, refuses to reveal all its secrets. Is it a wave spreading endlessly through space? Or is it a particle, a stream of quanta called photons? Every experiment says both. Light behaves as a wave when unobserved and as a particle when measured. It carries energy, momentum, and information, but it has no rest mass. It cannot ever stand still. Why should something be both particle and wave? No one knows. Light is how we see everything else, yet it remains a paradox in itself, both form and formlessness, both substance and motion. Perhaps it's fitting that the thing which reveals the universe still hides its own nature. And then there are the quantum entanglements. Two particles, once connected, can remain linked across vast distances, so that when one changes, the other does too, instantly, as if no space existed between them. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Today, we know it's real. We can measure it. We can even use it to send information in ways that defy logic. But how it happens? How two objects can remain one even when separated by light years? We still don't understand. Entanglement breaks our sense of separateness, suggests that space and distance are not as absolute as they seem, that perhaps at some deep level everything is connected, not metaphorically, but physically. Maybe that's the quiet message hidden in all of these mysteries, that the universe is not a machine to be solved, but a living network, a single field of being that hums with curiosity. The deeper we look, the more it reflects our own wonder back at us. So as you rest tonight, remember, not every question has an answer, and not every mystery needs one. Some are meant to be lived. Somewhere between chemistry and consciousness, life began. But how? We know the ingredients: carbon, water, energy, and time. We've seen the building blocks form in labs and comets, in lightning and in starlight. Yet the moment when lifeless molecules first learned how to copy themselves, when matter became memory, remains unseen. It's called abiogenesis, the origin of life, a bridge between physics and biology that no one has crossed. Was it a lucky accident in a warm, shallow sea, or did it happen deep beneath the ocean, in vents breathing heat and minerals into the dark? Some even wonder if life didn't start here at all, but arrived on the wind of meteorites, seeds scattered across worlds. We can simulate the ingredients, but not the spark. That invisible moment when the universe decided to look back at itself and say, I am alive. Life has continued for 4 billion years, adapting, evolving, surviving. But evolution itself still holds mysteries. We understand how small changes accumulate, how species branch and shift. But the leaps, those sudden bursts of complexity, remain strange. How did simple cells join together to form the first multicellular beings? How did cooperation evolve from competition? Why did consciousness appear in certain forms at certain moments? Biology explains survival, but not awareness. It can trace our lineage, but not our longing. Why should evolution produce a creature that dreams, paints, and questions its own existence? There's no survival advantage in wonder. And yet, here you are, listening to mysteries about the mysteries of being. Consciousness remains the greatest puzzle of them all. We can map the brain. We can watch neurons light up like galaxies when you feel joy, fear, love. But nowhere inside those cells do we find the thing that feels. Where does awareness come from? Where is the line between matter that reacts and mind that experiences? This is the hard problem of consciousness. Science can describe the mechanism, the patterns, the signals, but not the spark. Is consciousness a product of the brain, or is the brain a receiver for something larger? Some theories say awareness arises from complexity itself, that when matter reaches a certain threshold of connection, it begins to experience. Others believe that consciousness is fundamental, as basic to the universe as space or time, that everything, in some sense, is awake. We do not know, but the fact that you can even ask what you are may be the most astonishing evidence of all. Every thought you have is an electric storm, billions of tiny sparks, each one fleeting, and yet together they build your sense of self. But what is the self? When you close your eyes, you still feel like you. Your memories, your stories, your voice in the dark. But the brain is not static. Every cell that composes you has changed many times over. If your body renews itself, if even your mind reshapes with the time, what is the you that remains? Some say the self is an illusion, a story told by the brain to organize experience. Others say it's the continuity of memory or the persistence of awareness, flowing through change like a river through stones. We don't know, but the fact that identity feels so real means something profound is happening, a pattern so deep that it calls itself I. Even sleep itself is strange. We spend a third of our lives in a state where we can't defend ourselves, can't plan, can't think clearly, and yet we need it more than food. Why? Science knows that sleep restores the body, that it clears toxins from the brain, that it rewires memory and emotion. But none of that explains why it feels like vanishing, why we must leave consciousness to remain alive. And dreams, they make it stranger still. Why should the brain, while resting, create stories and worlds that vanish with the dawn? Some say dreams organize emotion. Others say they're random signals, interpreted by a restless mind. But the dreamer knows better. Dreams feel real for a reason. They remind us that awareness is not confined to waking life. Perhaps sleep isn't absence, but return. A nightly reunion with the deeper layers of mind that waking thought forgets. No one knows why we are aware of being aware. Why the mind looks inward and sees itself. Why it asks, who am I? Why am I here? Science can describe the mechanics of perception, but not the miracle of recognition. That small flame of self-awareness illuminates everything else, and yet its source remains hidden. Somewhere in the folds of the brain, the universe is observing itself, and perhaps that was the point all along. The more we understand about life, the stranger it becomes. The closer we look, the less certain we are where biology ends and mystery begins. Life is not just chemistry. It's curiosity made flesh. It's stardust that learned to wonder where it came from. Memory is the thread that ties us to ourselves. But science still doesn't fully know how that thread is woven, or why it sometimes frays. Each thought, each moment, each heartbeat of experience is stored somewhere inside you, but not like words on a page. Memories are fluid, alive, rewritten every time you recall them. They change shape as you do. No one knows exactly how. Neurons fire in shifting patterns. Networks strengthen and fade. But somewhere in that storm of electricity, a moment from years ago waits to be remembered. And sometimes it returns without warning. A smell, a song, a flicker of light, and suddenly you are there again. Science can trace the pathways, but not the meaning. It can't explain why certain moments stay soft and golden, while others disappear. It cannot measure nostalgia, that gentle echo that turns memory into music. Emotion is another mystery we live inside every day. The brain can map sadness, chart joy, observe anger, but not explain why we feel them so deeply. Why does music make us cry? Why does love quicken the pulse more than danger ever could? Why does awe make us silent? Emotions are chemistry, yes, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, but they are also language. The first language the mind ever spoke. Before we learned words, we knew how to feel. The heartbeat of another near us, the warmth of safety, the sharpness of fear. They guided us long before reason. Even now, feeling often comes before thought. You know something long before you can explain it. We call it intuition, gut instinct, the quiet voice beneath reason. No one knows exactly how it works. Some say it's pattern recognition, the subconscious noticing what the conscious mind misses. Others think it's something deeper, a bridge between awareness and the body, between self and environment. Whatever it is, intuition reminds us that knowledge isn't always logical. Sometimes it's felt, not found. The senses we rely on to know the world are not windows, they're filters. Your eyes see only a fraction of the spectrum. Your ears hear only a small range of sound. Most of reality exists outside your perception. There are colors beyond violet, frequencies beyond hearing, worlds within the worlds you think you know. You live inside a translation, a version of the universe small enough to survive in. Even what you do perceive is not raw data. Your brain interprets, fills gaps, builds illusions of continuity and depth. You never see reality as it is. You see what your mind believes it should be. And yet somehow, within that narrow window, we find beauty, we find meaning, we find each other. Conscious perception itself remains elusive. How does light hitting the retina become color in the mind? How does vibration in air become the sound of a voice you love? Science can trace the pathways, but not the transformation. The line between matter and experience remains invisible. Philosophers call it the explanatory. Gap neuroscientists call it the binding problem. How do separate sensations merge into a single, seamless moment? A you experiencing the world as one continuous flow. No one knows. We can measure the mechanics, but not the mystery. It's as if awareness is the final translation, the spark that turns physics into feeling. And then there is the strangest perception of all, the perception of self, the constant awareness that says, I am. No one can find it in the brain. It has no single location, no neuron that contains your name. And yet, it's the most persistent experience we have. The you that watches thoughts come and go is not the thought itself. It's the stillness beneath it, the silent witness. Science can describe activity, but not awareness. It can map the dance, but not the dancer. Where does that awareness come from? Why is there something that knows it exists instead of nothing at all? That question might be the oldest one of all. The mind, for all its brilliance, is a mystery, living inside a mystery. Every dream, every emotion, every flash of memory is the universe reflecting on itself through the fragile lens of human thought. We may never fully understand it, But maybe understanding was never the goal. Maybe the mind's true purpose is not to explain the world, but to wonder at it. When you close your eyes, something extraordinary happens. Your world dissolves. Your thoughts drift apart, and yet something remains awake beneath the surface. The subconscious, a silent ocean under the daylight of the mind. Science can measure its waves, tiny pulses of activity beneath awareness, but not its depth. It never sleeps. It never stops. It stores every sound, every scent, every face you've ever seen. Even what you've forgotten still lives somewhere inside it, whispering quietly from the dark. We don't yet know how it speaks, but we feel its language, in instinct, in déjà vu, in the quiet pull toward something you can't explain. The subconscious is the keeper of patterns, the dreamer that never wakes. It's not a place you go. It's a presence that holds you. Dreams are its voice made visible. For centuries, humans thought dreams were messages from gods, then symbols from the psyche, then random noise of sleeping neurons. But none of those stories capture the truth entirely, because dreams feel real, vivid, emotional, coherent. They build worlds that vanish like mist when you rise. Why do we dream? No one knows for certain. Some scientists believe it's memory processing, a way for the brain to file the day's experiences. Others say it's emotional balancing, a nightly therapy session where the mind rehearses survival, failure, and love. But dreams go beyond reason. Sometimes they predict, sometimes they heal, sometimes they seem to connect us. Something larger than ourselves. They are both science and story, a nightly frontier where the boundaries between body and soul gently dissolve. Even sleep itself is a mystery. Every creature on Earth, from humans to dolphins to fruit flies, needs it. And yet, evolution has given no clear explanation for why we must surrender consciousness every night. It's dangerous, unproductive, and vulnerable, but it's also essential. Sleep restores memory, repairs tissue, cleans the brain. But even beyond biology, there's something spiritual about it. A soft unbinding, a rehearsal for letting go. When you drift into sleep, your body slows, but your mind continues its quiet work, rearranging thoughts, washing away fear, knitting fragments of the day into something whole again. In the silence of night, your neurons dance in rhythm, solder than language. Slow waves sweep through the cortex, like tides erasing footprints from sand. The brain breathes. The soul exhales. Lucid dreams blur the line even further. Sometimes you realize you're dreaming, and suddenly you can shape the dream itself, fly through skies of your own making, walk through memories long gone, speak with those who exist only in thought. Science calls it metacognition in REM sleep, but even that explanation feels too small for the vastness of the experience. Where do these worlds come from? Are they merely chemical hallucinations, or windows into something deeper? A realm where consciousness wanders freely, unbound by physics or form. We don't know, but perhaps dreams are reminders that reality is more flexible than we think, that imagination isn't an escape from the world, but another layer of it. Even time behaves differently in dreams. Minutes stretch into hours. Years pass in seconds. You awaken and wonder how the mind could contain so much, so little time. Perhaps the dreaming brain isn't bound by the same linear flow. Perhaps sleep is our nightly visit to timeless dimension within, a place where thought moves faster than words, where feeling shapes form, and memory becomes landscape. And then there's that soft edge between waking and sleep, the hypnagogic state. It's a shimmer between worlds, a moment when you're half here, half elsewhere. Images bloom and dissolve, voices echo faintly, and your mind begins to dream before it has fully let go. Many great discoveries began there, in that gentle drift. Einstein, Dali, Tesla, each spoke of ideas born in that twilight between awareness and surrender. Maybe inspiration is just the subconscious, leaving the door ajar. Sleep remains a frontier. We enter every night without maps. We know it heals us. We know it renews us. But beyond the science, it may also remind us of what we are. Consciousness, learning to rest in its own mystery. Each night as you close your eyes, you are not falling away from life. You are falling into it, into the quiet rhythm of existence that pulses beneath every heartbeat. Sleep isn't absence, it's the universe whispering, "Be still, you are safe, you belong." Time, the quiet rhythm beneath every breath, every sunrise, every heartbeat. We move through it as though it were a river, steady and sure, carrying us forward. But science, for all its brilliance, still can't tell us what time truly is. We can measure it, count its passing in seconds and seasons, feel its flow in the soft erosion of memory. But what exactly is flowing? What moves when time moves? Einstein showed us that time is not constant. It bends, stretches, slows, depending on gravity and motion. The faster you go, the slower time passes for you. Clocks on satellites tick differently than clocks on Earth. Time is elastic, a living thing shaped by the universe's weight. And yet, our minds experience it as something steady, relentless, linear. The past fixed, the future unwritten. We remember yesterday but never tomorrow. Why? Science doesn't know why time has an arrow, why it moves only forward. The equations of physics work both ways. The future could, in theory, unfold backward, but it doesn't. Entropy, the slow spreading of disorder, seems to give time its direction. The universe's energy always disperses, never condenses again. Perhaps time itself is just the shadow entropy casts. Still, that explanation doesn't touch the human heart, because time feels like something real. We feel it aging us, softening our memories, turning joy into nostalgia. It isn't just physics, it's emotion. Sometimes time doesn't behave at all. In the presence of immense gravity, near a black hole, for instance, time can slow to a crawl. A minute near the event horizon could be decades for someone far away. To the falling observer, nothing feels strange. To the distant one, you seem frozen forever, hovering at the edge of eternity. It's a strange thought that somewhere in the universe, a single heartbeat might stretch longer than a lifetime, and somewhere else, a lifetime might pass before the next heartbeat. If time is relative, then perhaps the past, present, and future all coexist, layers of reality stacked like pages in a book, with our consciousness reading them one by one. We feel time unfold, but maybe it already is. Every moment, every birth, every death, every dream happening simultaneously. A dimension our senses cannot perceive. Some physicists call this the block universe, where time doesn't flow, It simply exists. You don't move through time. You move within a timeless landscape, visiting each instant like a traveler, crossing a frozen lake. The illusion of flow, the feeling of now, might be the mind's way of surviving eternity. But then, there's the strange truth that we can't even define the present. What is now? A second? A fraction of a second? Neuroscience tells us that the mind is always behind the world, that what you perceive as this moment is actually the past, delayed by the time it takes for light to reach your eyes, for signals to reach your brain, for your mind to assemble the scene. You are always living a few milliseconds behind reality, always catching up, always watching the past, and yet it feels immediate, alive. That's the miracle. The illusion so perfect, we never notice it. Time may be an invention of the mind, a byproduct of consciousness, trying to order the chaos of existence. Maybe everything that has ever happened and ever will is already there, and awareness is simply the act of scanning through it, a flashlight sweeping across eternity. And still, we age. We measure time in wrinkles and scars, in stories told and seasons gone. Even if it's illusion, it's the most convincing one we have. But what is aging really? Our atoms are constantly replaced. Your body today is not the same as it was 7 years ago, and yet you remain you. So what exactly is growing old? Maybe time is not the cause of change, but the record of it. Maybe aging isn't time passing, it's us remembering. We are the storytellers of the cosmos, marking the rhythm of our own unfolding. The stars themselves are clocks, burning, expanding, fading, each one a different measure of eternity. And long after they've gone cold, the echoes of their light will still cross the dark. Even light, which defines time itself, can outlive the thing that made it. In dreams, time melts completely. You can live entire lives in minutes, speak to people long gone, walk through places that never existed, and awaken to find only seconds have passed. Maybe the dream world is what reality looks like, without time, moments not chained in order, but blooming all at once, like flowers opening in different corners of the same garden. If the mind can escape time so easily, perhaps time isn't a prison at all, just a temporary hallway we walk through to understand motion, change, and love. Because love, too, defies time. It exists in memory and presence, in absence and in hope. It links moments that could never otherwise touch. It's how the past speaks to the future through the heart. In the end, no theory of time feels complete. It is both a law and an illusion, a heartbeat and an infinity. It stretches from the beginning of everything to the moment you close your eyes tonight and beyond. And maybe, just maybe, when the last thought of the universe fades, time will stop, only to begin again in another spark, in another dream. Because whatever time is, it always finds a way to return. There are no walls in the universe, no borders, no ceilings, no floor, just expansion, a silent stretching of everything, forever outward. We don't know what it's expanding into. There is no edge, no outside, no beyond. Space itself grows, like the surface of a rising wave, carrying galaxies farther and farther apart. But why does it expand? And what started it? Those questions rest at the heart of cosmology's oldest mystery, a mystery that may never end, because the universe itself might have no end. Astronomers look as far as we can, And still, we see only a fraction, a small, glowing bubble of what we call the observable universe. Beyond that horizon, light hasn't had time to reach us yet. But it's still there, stretching on in silence, perhaps endlessly. Maybe infinity isn't a number, maybe it's a feeling. That soft ache when you look at the night sky and sense that it just keeps going. Black holes are the universe's most perfect secrets. They are places where gravity wins, where matter folds in on itself, until it becomes so dense, so heavy, that even light cannot escape. To cross a black hole's event horizon is to vanish, not destroyed, not burned, but simply erased from the visible world. And yet, the paradox is this: information cannot truly disappear. Physics forbids it. So where does it go? What happens to everything that falls beyond the horizon? Does it remain encoded on the surface like a shadow? Does it slip into another universe, a mirror reality on the other side of collapse? Or does it transform into something we don't yet have words for? Stephen Hawking once said that black holes are not eternal prisons, but slow evaporations. They leak faint heat, called Hawking radiation. Over eons, they shrink and fade until they vanish completely. A whisper of energy where a star once was. But no one has ever seen that final fade. No one knows what remains when the last black hole breathes its last photon. Perhaps it's nothing. Perhaps it's everything. Wormholes, theoretical tunnels through space-time, offer another possibility. Einstein's equations allow them. Mathematically, they exist. They could, in theory, connect distant points in the cosmos, or even different universes. But if they exist, they are fragile, unstable, and fleeting. A single particle could make one collapse. Still, physicists dream of them. Natural shortcuts across light years, cosmic doorways folded into reality's fabric. Could black holes be entrances to such tunnels? Could the universe be woven with hidden corridors, linking galaxies like neural pathways in the brain of God? It's possible. We can't prove it. But mathematics whispers yes, and in science, a whisper is sometimes the beginning of revelation. Beyond what we can see, there may be dimensions we cannot feel. We live in 3 of space and 1 of time: height, width, depth, and duration. But theories like string theory suggest there could be many more. Tiny, hidden dimensions curled so tightly we could never detect them directly. They may shape the forces we know: gravity, light, magnetism, and bind the universe together like threads too fine for sight. Imagine a 2-dimensional being living on a flat surface. It could never perceive the depth above it. Now imagine us, 3-dimensional creatures moving through higher spaces we simply can't comprehend. Maybe the mysteries we face, dark matter, dark energy, the strange balance of the cosmos, are clues to those invisible directions. Perhaps reality itself is bigger than we can imagine. And then there are whispers of parallel universes. Every choice you make, every possibility that could unfold, might happen somewhere, in another branch of reality. Quantum physics suggests that particles don't make decisions until they're observed. Until then, they exist in all possible states at once. Some scientists believe that this rule applies to everything, that the universe constantly splits into countless versions of itself, each carrying its own outcome. In one, you are reading this now. In another, you turned away. In yet another, you were never born at all. It sounds impossible. It might be, but the math, strangely enough, works. And if it's true, then You are not a single being, but a chorus, echoes of possibility spread across infinity. We speak of the edge of the universe, but there may be no edge, just a quiet curvature, a cosmic loop folding back on itself like a dream that returns to its beginning. In such a universe, you could travel forever and eventually arrive where you started, not by crossing a boundary, but by completing a circle too vast to see. No outside, no beyond, just an endless inside. Every discovery in space only deepens the mystery. Dark matter, invisible, untouchable, yet making up most of what exists. Dark energy, a nameless pressure that drives the expansion of everything. Its origin unknown, we don't even know what 95% of the universe is. We name it dark because we cannot see it. But perhaps darkness is simply a name for all that remains to be learned. The cosmos is not a void. It's a question, vast, luminous, and alive. Look up at the stars tonight and you are seeing time, space, and mystery woven into a single tapestry. Every glimmer in that sky is both light and history, both distance and memory. The universe is not out there. You are part of it, a cell in its great unfolding body. The same laws that bend galaxies shape your heartbeat. The same particles that drift between stars flow in your veins. You are not looking at the universe. You are looking through. You are it. And in that realization, there is peace. Because even if we never reach the edge, even if the answers stay hidden, the journey itself is enough. Infinity doesn't need to be solved. It only needs to be seen and wondered at and loved. So tonight, let yourself drift through the galaxies within, the ones made of thought, the ones made of dream, the ones that never stop expanding. Every atom in your body is held together by invisible hands. You can't see them, you can't touch them, but without them, everything would fall apart. We live inside a universe of forces. They are the unseen architecture of reality, the quiet rules that keep everything from dissolving into chaos. There are 4 known forces in nature, and perhaps one day we will discover there are more. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force. 4 pillars, each delicate, each essential, yet for all their power, we still don't truly know why they exist or how they arose. They seem perfectly balanced, as though tuned with impossible precision. If gravity were stronger, the universe would collapse in on itself. If it were weaker, stars could never form. If electromagnetism were different by a fraction, atoms would not hold, and chemistry, life itself, would be impossible. It's a cosmic symphony, but we don't yet understand the composer. Gravity is the oldest mystery of all. We feel it constantly, the pull of the earth beneath our feet, the moon's silent tug on the tides, the sun's invisible leash holding planets in orbit. And yet, we don't know what it truly is. Einstein showed us that gravity isn't a force at all, but the bending of space-time. Mass curves the universe, and objects follow those curves. It's a beautiful idea, a fabric of reality that flexes under the weight of stars. But that elegant theory begins to fray when we look too closely at the smallest scales, inside atoms, inside particles. Einstein's gravity stops making sense. The equations break, the math explodes. Quantum mechanics, which governs the tiny, and relativity, which governs the vast, refuse to speak the same language. And so, For all our understanding, gravity remains a secret. It is the one force that resists being woven into the quantum tapestry. Something is missing, a deeper law, a hidden unity, waiting to be discovered. Electromagnetism, the force of light, of thunder, of every spark and heartbeat. It is the reason atoms hold together, the reason radios hum, and the reason the stars shine. Photons, particles of light, carry this force, binding energy and motion into a single dance. But what is light really? A wave, a particle, both. It behaves as both and neither. When we look, it changes. When we don't, it exists in every form at once. Even after centuries of study, we don't truly know what we are looking at. We can only say what light does. It illuminates the world, but keeps its own nature hidden. The strong nuclear force is the glue of existence. It binds the hearts of atoms, protons and neutrons locked together in unimaginable pressure. Without it, matter would fall apart in an instant. It is so powerful that when released, it can level cities, as in the fire of nuclear reactions. And yet inside your body, it quietly holds everything steady. No one fully understands why it is as strong as it is, or why it reaches only across the tiny distances. Why does this force, which could tear the universe apart, choose to act only in whispers, only at the smallest scales? Some physicists believe the answer lies in hidden particles, gluons, threads of an invisible web. Others suspect deeper symmetries, broken just enough to give rise to the matter we know. But the truth is, we don't yet know what gives the strong force its strength. We only know it never fails. The weak nuclear force, despite its name, is one of the most mysterious. It is the reason the sun shines, the reason stars burn, the reason you exist. It allows atoms to change, to decay, to transform, to release light and heat. Every second of every day, trillions of these invisible transformations pass through your body. Tiny flashes of creation and destruction that keep the cosmos alive. Without the weak force, there would be no fusion in the sun, no carbon, no oxygen, no life. And yet, we barely understand it. It violates certain symmetries of nature. It behaves differently for matter and antimatter, for left and right. Why? We don't know. It's as if the universe itself has a preference, a subtle twist, a quiet, a symmetry, woven into its very laws. And then there are the forces we can't yet see. Dark energy, a pressure pushing space apart at ever-increasing speed. It makes up nearly 70% of the universe, but we have no idea what it is. It could be a property of space itself, a background hum of energy that fills the void. Or it could be something deeper, a field, a force, a new layer of reality. All we know is that it's winning. Galaxies are racing away from one another faster and faster, and no known physics can explain why. Then there's dark matter, the invisible scaffolding of the cosmos. It doesn't glow, it doesn't reflect, and it doesn't interact with light. But it's there. Its gravity shapes galaxies, bends starlight, and holds the universe together. We've searched for it for decades, buried detectors underground, sent satellites to scan the heavens, but we've never seen it directly. It is the missing mass of everything, an unseen ocean in which the stars are merely foam. Perhaps the strangest truth of Alice that everything we know, planets, stars, atoms, people, makes up less than 5% of the universe. The rest is invisible, unseen, unexplained, and maybe that's how it's meant to be, because mystery, not certainty, is what gives the universe its depth. We are surrounded by hidden forces. Some we feel, some we measure, some we only imagine. And perhaps that's what holds it all together. Not equations, not matter, but the quiet balance of what is known and what remains unknown. So tonight, as you lie in the gravity of your own bed, feel the pull of those invisible laws, the weight of the earth beneath you, the hum of electricity in the walls, the warmth from the fusion of a distant star. You are surrounded by force older than time, deeper than thought, stronger than understanding. And yet, they move through you gently, holding you in place between chaos and infinity. Sleep, knowing you are woven into the same tapestry that binds the galaxies together, the same unseen energy that whispers through every atom whispers through you too. You are not apart from the universe's forces. You are one of them. Stillness, breathing, and gravity, all in harmony. Inside your head, an entire universe hums. A galaxy of cells, each one flickering like a star. 100 billion neurons, each with 1,000 connections, sending silent lightning through the darkness. And somehow, from that storm of electricity, you arise. You, the awareness that watches, the voice that speaks inside without sound, the presence that wonders, who am I? Science can describe how neurons fire. It can map the brain in glowing colors. It can trace which regions light up when you dream, when you love, when you remember, but no scan, no formula, no circuit has ever revealed why those sparks become you. This is the hard problem of consciousness. How can matter think? How can atoms, lifeless and cold, combine to create experience? We know the mechanisms, but not the meaning. How does the color red feel? Why does pain hurt? Why does joy glow warm in the chest? Why is there something instead of nothing at all? No one can answer. No one even knows where to begin. Because consciousness doesn't seem to fit inside physics. It doesn't have shape or mass or location. And yet, it's the only thing you truly know. Everything else, the stars, the sky, the sound of my voice, is experienced through it. Some scientists say consciousness is emergent, a byproduct of complexity, that when enough neurons connect, awareness simply appears, like music rising from an orchestra. Others say consciousness is fundamental, not something the brain creates, but something the brain receives, a field that permeates everything, and the mind, like an antenna, tunes in. This is the panpsychic view, that awareness isn't rare, but universal, that every atom contains a glimmer of it, and we are simply its most intricate reflection. Then there is the binding problem. Each sense, sight, sound, touch, taste, thought, is processed in a different part of the brain. But somehow, you don't experience them separately. You see, hear, and feel the world as one seamless whole. Where do those signals merge? Where do they become you? Neuroscience has no clear answer. It's as if consciousness itself is the binding, the invisible thread that ties perception into a single tapestry. Without it, everything would remain fragments, unconnected notes in a silent song. And what of the self, that quiet sense of that never seems to change, even as your body and memories do? Every cell in your body is replaced many times in a lifetime. Your thoughts shift, your beliefs evolve, and yet you still say me. So, who is the me that remains the same me through all that change? Some say the self is an illusion, a useful story told by the brain to organize experience. Others say it's a pattern, a continuity of awareness that flows like a river, always moving, but always itself. Maybe you are not a fixed point, but a current, the movement itself, not the water that moves. Consciousness, for all its mystery, also shows us the mind's quiet miracles. You can imagine places you've never been. You can relive memories as if time folded back. You can love people who are gone and feel their presence in the silence. No other known system in the universe does this. No machine, no algorithm, no simulation has ever dreamed or hoped or wept. Maybe consciousness isn't just awareness. Maybe it's the universe's way of experiencing itself through wonder. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its witness, its eyes, its memory. Dreams show us the mind's infinite landscape. Within sleep, the brain weaves reality from nothing. It paints skies, creates people, rebuilds emotion and space. How can imagination feel so real? Why do dreams mirror the same physics, the same logic, until you wake? Some say dreams are neural housekeeping, the brain filing memories. Others say they are communication between conscious and subconscious, or even between soul and source. Perhaps when you dream, you step into the deeper layers of your own consciousness, the ocean beneath the surface of thought. Maybe that's why dreams fade when we wake. The waking mind cannot hold so much infinity at once. And then there are moments that defy explanation: intuition, telepathy, synchronicity, déjà vu. Feelings that something is about to happen. Moments that unfold as if pre-written. Thoughts that connect two people in perfect timing without a word exchanged. Science has no proof of psychic connection, but it can't fully dismiss it either. Experiments show patterns that hint at something, some quiet exchange beyond the senses. Maybe consciousness isn't confined to skulls. Maybe minds, like ripples in water, touch and overlap without realizing it. Perhaps what we call coincidences, the universe reminding itself that everything is still connected. We are minds made of matter trying to understand the matter that made mind. It's the strangest feedback loop imaginable. The universe, self-aware, and maybe that's the answer. Maybe consciousness isn't a puzzle to solve, but a miracle to experience. Maybe awareness is the universe opening its eyes and realizing it's alive. So tonight, as you drift between thought and dream, remember, you are not just a brain. You are not just a mind. You are awareness itself, the stillness behind every thought, the space between every heartbeat. You are the watcher and the watched, the question and the answer. You are the universe, becoming conscious of its own beauty. For a brief, breathtaking moment in time, sleep peacefully, knowing that every thought you've ever had is a spark of something infinite, trying to know itself through you. Long before you learn to think, you learn to feel. Before words, before memory, your heart already knew how to tremble, how to soften, how to ache. Science can describe emotion, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, the patterns of activation in the brain. But none of that explains why a melody can bring tears, or why the sight of another's smile can fill you with light. Feelings are not calculations. They are colors that thought can't paint. They move through us, ancient and wordless, older than reason itself. We share the same chemistry as stars, and yet only we weep when they die. Love is the strangest force of all, not the chemical rush of attraction, not the evolutionary logic of survival, but the deeper thing, the quiet gravity between souls. Science says love evolved to help our species endure. It keeps us connected, cooperative, devoted to one another's survival. But what about the kind of love that exists without reason? The love that persists after loss, that burns without reciprocation, that endures even when the body fades. Why do we mourn? Why do we care for strangers? Why do we love knowing we will one day lose? There is no simple answer. Love seems to defy logic. It gives without condition, asks without guarantee, and grows stronger with time, not weaker. It is both science and spirit. Chemical, yes, but also cosmic. Perhaps love is not something we create, but something we tune into. Like gravity, it holds us in orbit, invisible, unbreakable, eternal. Empathy is another miracle. When you see someone in pain, your brain mirrors it. It feels what they feel. The neurons that fire in them fire in you. Your heart, in a small way, becomes theirs. Why should that be? Why should the mind care for another mind? Evolution can explain cooperation, but not compassion. Not the ache we feel when we see another suffering, even if they are a stranger. Empathy blurs the boundary between self and other. It whispers that the separation was never real, that perhaps consciousness is one ocean and every person is just a wave. When you comfort someone, you are not two beings sharing emotion. You are one being, remembering itself. Joy is even harder to explain. It isn't survival. It isn't logic. It's something the universe does when it recognizes its own beauty. The joy of sunlight through trees, the sound of laughter, the warmth of touch, all simple moments, and yet they fill existence with meaning beyond measure. Joy has no utility. It doesn't protect you or feed you. It simply reminds you what it feels like to be alive. Perhaps joy is awareness remembering itself, a small spark of infinity, realizing it exists. Grief is the shadow of love, proof that you have cared deeply. Science calls it emotional pain, the body's reaction to loss. But there's something sacred about it, a depth that no biology can explain. When someone you love disappears, you still feel their gravity. They remain not in the world, but in the space inside you that remembers. Grief is the mind's way of saying love cannot die. It changes form, but never fades. In every tear, the universe mourns itself and learns again what connection means. Hope may be the most mysterious emotion of all. It exists even when logic says not to. It persists through despair, through loss, through uncertainty. It's the quiet whisper that life gives itself to keep going. No formula can predict it. No lab can measure. And hope is what remains when everything else has been stripped away. It's not denial of darkness. It's the small, unwavering light that remembers morning is possible. Maybe that's why the universe made hearts, to hold light even when the mind forgets. Every emotion, from the quiet ache of nostalgia to the fire of love, is a language written in feeling. It's how the universe speaks through us, not in numbers, not in words, but in warmth and tears and awe. Perhaps emotion is consciousness, remembering its purpose, not just to exist, but to feel. to experience itself fully through the beauty and ache of being alive. So tonight, as you lie in stillness, let your heart be soft. Let it ache. Let it glow. Let it breathe. You don't need to understand your emotions. You only need to allow them. They are the proof that you are not made of equations, but of tenderness. You are a constellation of feelings, a galaxy of moments, a heartbeat echoing through eternity. Love made you. Empathy shapes you, and joy. Joy is the universe smiling through you. Sleep with that warmth. You are part of something vast, something kind, something beautifully human. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you call real exists only as patterns of light and energy, translated by your mind. Your eyes do not see the world itself. They see reflections, vibrations, waves of light turned into meaning. Your ears do not hear the sound. They sense pressure, movement, a rhythm your brain converts into voice and wind and music. The world you experience is not the universe as it is. It is the universe as you perceive it, a carefully painted image woven from fragments of sensation and stitched together by memory. Reality, in the truest sense, is an interpretation, and that may be the strangest discovery of all. Perception is the brain's great trick, a story told so convincingly that you forget you're the storyteller. Your mind edits, fills gaps, and invents what's missing. You never see the full picture, only what consciousness decides is necessary. And yet, it feels complete. You look at a tree, and in an instant, you see color, depth, texture, movement. But your brain processed it all a fraction of a second later than it really happened. You live slightly behind the present, always catching up to reality's stream. So what is now? A moment that's already passed, or a dream being written as you live it? No one knows. But what we do know is that everything you experience is constructed inside you, a simulation your mind creates to navigate an unknowable world. Some scientists and philosophers have taken that idea even further. What if reality itself is a kind of simulation, not a computer game, not a digital illusion, but a structured, coded universe built on mathematics, not matter? The equations that describe physics are eerily precise. Energy, space, time, and motion obey rules so exact that even randomness seems designed. We can describe the universe as a kind of information field, where every particle, every wave, every possibility is a bit of data processed by an underlying system. If that's true, then reality might not be physical at all, but informational. And we, conscious observers, are part of the code. Some researchers have even searched for glitches, tiny irregularities that might reveal the hidden grid beneath. None have been found, but the question lingers. If the universe is a simulation, how could we ever prove it? Would a program know it's being run? Would a dream know it's being dreamed? But maybe the simulation is not artificial. Maybe it's organic. Maybe reality is a self-sustaining dream. The universe is having about itself. The laws of nature, the constants of physics, the flow of time, all stable, all repeating, as if someone set the parameters long ago. And inside that framework, awareness awakens. Atoms learn to think. Matter begins to wonder what it is. The dream begins to dream. You are part of that process, a fragment of consciousness, looking back at the source and asking, what am I made of? Even quantum physics hints at this strange duality between perception and reality. At the smallest scales, particles do not exist as solid things. They exist as probabilities, clouds of potential that only solidify when observed. Before you look, they are waves of possibility. After you look, they become definite. Does the act of observation create reality, or does it simply reveal it? No one knows, but the experiments are clear. The observer, matter's consciousness, changes outcome, and that means reality is not separate from awareness. It is entangled with it. Hallucinations show us how thin the veil really is. To the brain, a vivid dream and a vivid memory are almost identical. The hallucination feels real because neurologically it is. Your perception system doesn't distinguish between what's seen and what's imagined. So what is reality? If it can be built from imagination alone, if thought can paint worlds as real as touch, perhaps everything is mind-made, from the smallest quark to the largest galaxy, a shared projection emerging from consciousness itself. And if reality is perception, then perhaps truth is not absolute but relational. The universe doesn't need to convince you it's real. It simply is. But your experience of it, its beauty, its sadness, its meaning, comes entirely from you. Science can measure light, but not what it feels like to stand in sunlight. It can define gravity, but not what it means to fall in love. Maybe reality is not a single objective thing, but a conversation between the world that exists and the mind that beholds it. And yet, for all our questions, reality still feels solid under our feet. The stars still shine. The wind still moves through the trees. Our lives still unfold with their quiet rhythm of wonder and grief. So, perhaps illusion or not, it doesn't matter. The experience itself is the miracle. If the universe is a dream, it is dreaming beautifully. If reality is code, it's written in the language of light. If existence is illusion, then illusion is the most exquisite truth ever imagined. So tonight, as you close your eyes, don't try to decide what's real. Just rest inside the wonder of it. Whether this world is physical or imagined, it's still yours, still vast, still sacred. You are both the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed, the code and the consciousness reading it. And in that gentle paradox lies the peace of the infinite, truth that needs no proving, only presence. Sleep now, knowing that reality, whatever it truly is simply the universe breathing you into being. Beneath the vastness of stars, there is another universe, quiet, green, and breathing. The earth. We think of it as our home, but in truth, it is a living being, a pulse beneath our feet, a rhythm beneath our days. And though science maps its mountains and measures its atmosphere, there are mysteries here no microscope or satellite can explain. The world is alive in ways we are only beginning to understand. Start with plants. To most eyes, they are silent, still, passive things. But in truth, they are listening. Through roots and mycelial threads, plants communicate, sharing water, nutrients, warnings. When one tree is attacked by insects, it releases chemicals into the air to warn its neighbors. Within hours, the others begin producing toxins to defend themselves. Underground, fungal networks called the mycorrhizal web connect plants like synapses in a brain. Nutrients flow through this hidden system from those who have plenty to those in need. It's not random. It's cooperative. it's intelligent. Forests are not collections of trees. They are organisms, single, fast, and self-aware in their own slow-rooted way. Science can describe the chemistry, but not the intent. We don't know how trees decide which neighbors to help, or why they favor their own seedlings, if they recognize them. But they do. Maybe what we call instinct is simply wisdom spoken in a language of sap and soil. Even single-celled life shows purpose we can't quite explain. A bacterium with no brain can navigate toward food, avoid danger, and repair itself. A slime mold with no nervous system at all can find the shortest path through a maze. When researchers placed oat flakes to represent cities around Tokyo, a slime mold grew networks that mirrored the efficiency of the city's subway map. It was solving problems with no thought, no logic, only life's quiet intuition. How does a creature with no neurons decide? How does it know? Perhaps intelligence doesn't begin in the brain. Perhaps it begins wherever life begins. The oceans hold secrets even older. Whales communicate across thousands of miles through songs so deep that they resonate through water like ancient hymns. Each pod has its own dialect, its own culture. Some have songs that change with the seasons, evolving melodies passed from mother to calf over generations. Dolphins call one another by name, unique whistles that function as identity, and octopuses, creatures so alien they seem from another world, solve puzzles, use tools, and dream. Their skin changes color not just for camouflage, but as expression, a shifting art of emotion and thought. Their neurons aren't centralized like ours. 2/3 of them live in their arms. They think with their bodies, feel with their skin, and see with their entire being. Science calls it distributed intelligence, but it feels like something more. A different way of being conscious, not centered, not separate, but flowing. Even the Earth's smallest systems move with uncanny coordination. Birds turn in unison through vast, rippling skies. Fish move as one body, flashing silver in perfect arcs. No leader, no signal, just awareness shared across many. It's called emergent behavior, complexity rising from simplicity. But how do hundreds of minds synchronize without words, without delay, without error? Some scientists suggest they sense the movement of others through subtle pressure waves and fields. Others think it's something deeper, a kind of collective intuition. Perhaps consciousness, like wind flows where many breathe together. Even insects, small as they are, display mysteries of mind. A honeybee, after finding a flower field, returns to the hive and performs a dance. The pattern of its movement encodes direction, distance, and quality of nectar. It's a language, spoken through rhythm. Ants build bridges out of their own bodies, adapting in real time to obstacles. Butterflies migrate across continents, some completing a journey that began generations before they were born. How does memory travel through time without a brain to hold it? How does instinct remember a map it has never seen? There are forms of memory beyond neurons, imprinted in cells, in DNA, perhaps even in the electromagnetic field of life itself. We carry ancestral knowledge, not through thought, but through being. And then there's the question of Gaia. Is the Earth itself alive? Not metaphorically, literally. Some scientists believe the planet functions as a single organism, self-regulating its climate, its chemistry, its balance of oxygen and carbon. James Lovelock called it the Gaia hypothesis. Earth as a vast living system, with us as part of its tissue. The forests are its lungs, the oceans its blood, the clouds its breath, and we are its thoughts, its dreams, its moment of reflection. We are not separate from nature. We are nature looking at itself. There are things even deeper still, things that science can measure but not yet interpret. Plants that release signals when someone speaks kindly to them, mushrooms that grow faster under moonlight, crystals that align with magnetic intention, patterns that hint at awareness, woven through matter itself. Is consciousness limited to brains, or is it everywhere? From roots to rivers to rocks. Perhaps awareness isn't something we possess. Perhaps it's something we share, something that flows through all of life, like sunlight through leaves. And as you lie here, listening to this quiet thought, know that your breath is the same air once breathed by forests, oceans, mountains, and stars. Every inhale is a conversation with everything that lives. Every exhale a gift back to the world that made you. You are not just living on Earth. You are part of its pulse, one note in its infinite song. Sleep, knowing that life surrounds you, inside and out. It thinks, it feels, it remembers, and in its deep green silence, it holds you. Time is the quietest illusion. It moves in one direction, always forward, or so it seems. Seconds turn into minutes, minutes into years, and our lives unfold like stories written in invisible ink. But physics whispers something different. Einstein showed us that time is not a river, but a landscape where past, present, and future all exist at once. You are not moving through time. You are drifting across a vast terrain of moments, each one still there, each one eternal. Perhaps your first breath, your first memory, your first love, they are all still happening right now. In another corner of space-time, your consciousness has already moved beyond. To time, nothing is lost. To time, everything is forever. And yet, we feel it slip. The past fades, the present dissolves, and the future rushes closer, like a wave that never stops. Why does consciousness move only forward? Why do we remember only what's behind us, never what lies ahead? Science doesn't know. Some say it's because of entropy, the universe's slow march from order to chaos. As energy spreads, as systems unravel, time finds its direction. But others wonder if time's arrow is tied not to physics, but to perception. Maybe it's consciousness that moves, not time. Maybe the present is a single point of awareness, sliding across eternity, like a flashlight, beam illuminating one frame at a time from an infinite film. And then there is the greatest mystery of all, death. Every living thing meets it, every species, every star, every universe perhaps. But what it is remains unknown. Science describes death as cessation, a quiet end to the processes of life. But even that definition feels incomplete because something continues. Not the body, not the breath, but something subtle. The awareness that once said I am. For centuries, humans across the world have spoken of experiences that defy explanation. Visions at the edge of dying, memories seen from above the body, light, warmth, a sense of endless presence. Near-death experiences, shared death experiences, dreams that blur the border between worlds. Neuroscience searches for causes: oxygen loss, chemical release, brain activity in collapse, but none fully explain the serenity, the clarity, the coherence so often described. In that silence beyond the heartbeat, people report the same thing, a feeling not of ending, but of returning. What if consciousness doesn't emerge from the brain, but is simply channeled through it? Then death would not be destruction, but release. The radio may stop, but the signal remains. Energy never disappears. It only changes form. The particles in your body, the heat from your thoughts, the atoms that hold your bones, they are already immortal. The carbon in your breath was once the heart of a star. The calcium in your teeth was born in a supernova's flame. The light in your eyes is ancient starlight, reflected, remembered, reborn. When you die, you don't vanish, you transform. You scatter into sky and soil, into roots and rain, into everything still unfolding. Perhaps consciousness does the same. Perhaps what you truly are was never confined to skin or synapse. We still don't know where the mind goes when it dreams, let alone when it dies. Some researchers explore quantum consciousness, the idea that awareness may arise from subatomic interaction within the brain's microtubules, connected to the fabric of space-time itself. If that's true, then death isn't destruction, it's diffusion, a return to the universal field that gave birth to you. Others believe the selfie's a pattern in information, and information, by the laws of physics, can never be destroyed. It only shifts, rearranges, reappears. Maybe the afterlife isn't a place you go to, but a frequency you tune into, one your waking mind cannot perceive. And maybe the light people describe is not a tunnel, but a horizon, not the end of something, but the beginning of everything. Even the universe itself will one day face its own version of death. Stars will fade, galaxies will drift apart, black holes will evaporate, and all will cool to the quiet of absolute zero. Physicists call it heat death, the long, soft sigh of everything, but maybe that too is only a transition. Some theories say the universe will collapse and bounce, birthing a new one from the ashes of the old. Others say it will give rise to infinite pocket universes, each born from quantum fluctuations, each with new physics, new stories, new kinds of life. So perhaps even death is not final on a cosmic scale. Perhaps it is the way the universe breathes. And if that's true, then nothing is ever truly lost. Not the stars, not the worlds, not you. You are not a fleeting spark in a cold, indifferent universe. You are the universe, briefly awake, looking back at itself with eyes full of wonder. And one day, you'll return to where you began. Not gone, but diffused, folded back into the song that has been playing since before time began. So rest easy, gentle traveler of moments. There is nothing to fear. Life is not a line with an end. It is a circle, a current, a quiet rhythm flowing through eternity. Sleep knowing this. When your time here fades, you will not fall into nothing. You will fall into everything. The mystery of dreams, memory, and the mind between worlds. Every night, you close your eyes and disappear. Your body rests, your breath slows, and something remarkable begins. A journey inward into the ocean of your own mind. Dreaming is one of the oldest mysteries. It's a theater of thought where physics softens and reality bends. Here, you can fly. You can visit the past, speak to the dead, walk through places that never existed, and yet feel more real than waking life itself. Science can trace the waves in your brain, the REM cycles, the bursts of activity that pulse like storms of light. But no machine can explain why we dream, why the mind, even at rest, creates entire universes for itself to wander through. Some believe dreams are the brain's housekeeping, a way to process memory, to organize emotion, to store what matters, and release what doesn't. Each night, your mind sorts through the day, weaving fragments of experience into symbols and scenes, turning confusion into meaning, turning chaos into story. But that explanation doesn't capture their beauty. It doesn't explain why dreams can teach, or warn, or heal. It doesn't explain why they sometimes feel like messages from somewhere deeper. Ancient cultures saw dreams as portals, bridges between the seen and the unseen. They believed the soul traveled to other realms while the body slept. Even now, many who dream vividly speak of meeting beings, of glimpsing futures, of learning things they could not have known. Psychologists might call it the subconscious, but even that word is just another name for mystery. What is the subconscious truly? Where does it live? How does it hold so much that the waking mind cannot access? Memories, fears, desires, even creativity itself. Maybe the subconscious is not beneath awareness, but beyond it, a wider field where your individual mind meets the collective one. Dreams sometimes speak in symbols that seem absurd. A staircase that never ends, a house that changes each time you enter, a forgotten face that feels like home. But those symbols, like poetry, carry meaning too large for language. They are the subconscious, trying to tell a story that the waking mind cannot yet understand. In that sense, every dream is a conversation between the known and the unknown, between the self that wakes and the self that never sleeps. Then there is the phenomenon of lucid dreaming, the moment when you realize you are dreaming and the world bends to your will. You can shape the sky, speak to the dead, walk on water, and yet you are still inside your own mind. How can awareness awaken inside a dream and still remain asleep? Where does consciousness go when it detaches from the body and roams through landscapes of pure thought? Neuroscience can identify the brain regions involved. The prefrontal cortex lights up. The dream stabilizes. Reality becomes flexible, but none of that explains the wonder you feel when you realize you're both the dreamer and the dream. Some experiments have shown that dreamers can communicate with researchers from within dreams, moving their eyes in prearranged patterns to answer questions in real time. Think about that. Someone asleep, unconscious to the world, can signal from a dream to those still awake. The border between sleep and waken is not a wall. It's a veil, thin, permeable. Maybe consciousness doesn't switch off when we sleep. Maybe it simply shifts dimensions. Déjà vu may be part of that same mystery. That eerie feeling that you've lived this moment before. Science calls it a misfire, a short circuit between memory and perception. But what if it's more? What if déjà vu, the mind, remembering a dream you had long ago, a dream of this very moment, now unfolding in real life? Or perhaps it's time folding in on itself, the future brushing against the present, just long enough to whisper, "You've been here before." Memory itself is its own enigma. It's not a recording, not a file we replay. Each time we remember, we reconstruct, reshape, rewrite. Your past is not fixed. It's a living story, retold differently each time. And yet, some memories never fade. Scent, a song, a fleeting expression on a loved one's face. Moments so powerful, they carve themselves into eternity. Science still doesn't know why certain memories burn brighter than others, why pain and joy linger more than the rest. Perhaps emotion is the ink that memory writes with, and love is the page that never tears. The border between dream and reality has always been thinner than we think. Artists, inventors, and scientists have drawn inspiration from what they saw in dreams. Einstein imagined himself riding a beam of light before discovering relativity. Niels Bohr dreamed of electrons orbiting a sun before proposing the atomic model. Mary Shelley dreamed of a creature brought to life and awoke to write Frankenstein. Dreams are not just imagination, they are laboratories of creation, the mind rehearsing, experimenting, and reaching beyond logic. They prove that the subconscious is not chaos, but genius. And then there are the dreams that don't feel like dreams at all. The ones where you meet someone who has died. The ones that bring peace or closure, or a message that feels like it came from beyond the edge of life. Psychology calls them grief dreams, but those who experience them know how different they feel, how filled with light, how drenched in calm. Maybe the mind, in dreaming, opens to frequencies that waking life cannot tune into. Maybe the dead don't leave. They simply move into wavelengths that sleep allows us to hear. So tonight, as you drift into that gentle abyss, know that you are about to return to a place older than thought, a place where your mind remembers what the soul already knows, that time bends, that love endures, and that the boundary between real and unreal is as soft as breath. Close your eyes. You are safe. You are infinite. You are about to dream another universe into being. And somewhere in that quiet place between worlds, you might just meet yourself, the version of you who has always been awake. The mystery of coincidence, fate, and the patterns that shape our lives. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes feels arranged? You think of someone you haven't seen in years, and they call you the next day. You miss a bus, only to meet the person who will change your life on the next one. You dream of a symbol, and then it appears in waking life exactly as you saw it. Science calls them coincidences. Statistics calls them probability. But to the heart, they feel like whispers, subtle winks from the universe, as if something unseen is gently guiding the threads. Are these moments random, or are they signs of a deeper order we don't yet understand? Coincidence is what we call events that align without clear cause. But perhaps that definition says more about our limits than about reality. The human brain is built to find patterns. It's how we survived, how we learned, how we predicted storms and faces and danger. But sometimes it finds the patterns too beautiful to be dismissed as chance. When events line up perfectly, when meaning echoes through timing, we feel something ancient stir within us, as if the world itself is aware and listening. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, the meeting of inner and outer worlds, the alignment of mind and matter through meaning, not cause. To Jung, a coincidence is meaningful when it reflects your inner state, when the universe seems to respond to what you feel or think without logical connection. You dream of a golden bird, and the next morning, a real one lands on your windowsill. Science would say, it's chance. But your soul says, no, it's something more. Synchronicity is not about luck. It's about resonance. It's the moment your inner frequency matches the rhythm of the world around you. Maybe, in that instant, you and the universe are speaking the same language. Modern physics gives this idea quiet echo. Quantum theory tells us that all things are connected, not metaphorically, but literally. Particles that were once entangled remain linked, no matter how far apart they drift. Change one, and the other reacts instantly, faster than light, beyond distance. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But perhaps it's not spooky. Perhaps it's the universe remembering that separation is only an illusion. Maybe our lives, too, are entangled, threads woven through unseen fields, vibrating in sympathy. When you think of someone, and they reach out at that exact moment, maybe you've both tugged the same string in the great web of being. And what of fate? Does destiny exist, or do we carve the path as we go? Some say everything is random, a cascade of cause and effect with no grand design. Others say the future is already written, and we are simply walking through its unfolding pages. But maybe both are true. Maybe life is a story with a fixed beginning and end, and within it, infinite freedom to choose the tone, the words, the way we move through the plot. You can't change the destination, but you can shape the meaning. Like music, the notes are written, but how you play theme is entirely your own. Then there is luck, that strange alignment of events that seems to favor some and avoid others. Science calls it probability, but it often feels personal. Some people seem to live beneath a quiet blessing, as if the universe smiles in their direction. Could luck be a field, a pattern of resonance between expectation and outcome? When you expect good fortune, you notice doors that others overlook. You take steps that align with chance. You move through the world, open instead of guarded. Maybe what we call luckies, simply cooperation with possibility. When your mind aligns with the flow of events, opportunities reveal themselves, like stars appearing in twilight. Some physicists now wonder if information itself might shape probability, if consciousness can subtly influence how randomness unfolds. Experiments in quantum physics have shown that particles behave differently when they are observed. The act of attention changes reality. Maybe the same is true for our lives. Maybe awareness is participation, and every thought, every emotion, every choice ripples outward, invisible but real. If so, then meaning is not an illusion. It's the fabric of everything. Sometimes it's easy to forget that. We call strange alignments luck. We call miracles chance. But deep down, we feel the pattern. The friend who appears when you most need them. The perfect song that plays when your heart is breaking. The missed turn that leads to the right encounter. What if the universe isn't random? What if it's conversational? What if it speaks in symbols and timing and serendipity? And dreams are simply its softer voice. So tonight, if you're wondering about coincidence, let it soothe you instead of confuse you. Because maybe, just maybe, nothing is accidental. Every meeting, every delay, every twist of timing may be part of an intricate design, too subtle for reason, but perfect in its rhythm. You don't need to understand the pattern. You only need to trust it, because the same intelligence that spins galaxies is also shaping the moments of your day, gently, patiently, lovingly. Sleep knowing this. You are not lost in chaos. You are carried by connection. Every coincidence is a thread, and all of them together are weaving you home. The mystery of intuition, inner knowing, and the mind beyond logic. There's a voice inside you that doesn't speak in words. It doesn't argue or explain or reason. It simply knows. You felt it before. The sudden certainty to turn left instead of right. The quiet nudge to call someone. The unexplainable feeling that something is about to happen. It's softer than thought, quieter than fear. But when you listen, it almost always leads you true. Science calls it intuition. Mystics call it the inner voice. But no one truly knows where it comes from or how it speaks. It seems to emerge from somewhere deeper than the mind, a current of wisdom flowing beneath awareness. And the more you trust it, the clearer it becomes. What is intuition really? Some say it's the subconscious mind, recognizing patterns faster than the conscious mind can analyze. That deep within you, your brain gathers clues, connects dots, and forms conclusions before you ever think them. It's logic too quick to notice, reason disguised as instinct. But that explanation, while comforting, feels incomplete, because intuition isn't always based on information. Sometimes it reveals things you couldn't possibly have known. It's as if something beyond memory is whispering through you, a deeper intelligence, ancient and infinite. There are moments when intuition defies all logic. A mother wakes seconds before her child cries. A traveler changes flights without knowing why, only to learn later that she avoided disaster. A stranger feels drawn to a place and discovers meaning there that alters the course of their life. Coincidence, perhaps, but if you've lived long enough, you know these moments aren't rare. They happen just often enough to make you wonder, where does that knowing come from, and why does it speak so softly? The heart, it turns out, may know things before the brain does. In controlled experiments, researchers have found that the body sometimes reacts to future events a few seconds before they occur. Heart rate changes, skin conductivity shifts, as if the body senses the ripple of what's coming before time itself delivers it. The effect is small but measurable, and though scientists debate the cause, it raises a quiet question. Does intuition transcend time? Maybe awareness is not trapped in the present moment. Maybe consciousness stretches forward and back. A wave, not a point. And intuition is simply when that wave touches something ahead. Many traditions have said this all along. In Taoism, intuition is the way, the effortless harmony between self and reality. In Buddhism, it's the direct seeing that exists beyond words. In indigenous wisdom, intuition is the earth speaking, the rhythm of nature echoing through your blood. And in modern psychology, it's the subtle intelligence of the right hemisphere, pattern-based, emotional, and non-linear. The truth may be that intuition isn't supernatural at all. It's the original language of the mind, the one that came before thought, before speech, before doubt. It's how life knows itself without needing to explain. You feel it strongest in stillness, in quiet moments, when the noise of reason fades and the world softens around you. A whisper, a pull, a sense of calm, direction. That's intuition's nature. Not to argue, but to guide, not to shout, but to remind. It doesn't come from fear, and it never rushes. It feels grounded, gentle, and strangely familiar, like remembering something you've always known. The mind analyzes, the heart simply understands. Sometimes, intuition shows itself in creativity. An artist paints a vision they can't explain. A composer hears music in their sleep, and the inventor dreams a design and wakes to build it exactly as seen. These moments are not accidents, they are intuition made visible, the subconscious or something deeper, surfacing through imagination. Einstein once said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind its faithful servant." But we've built a world that honors the servant and forgets the gift. Perhaps that's why intuition feels so rare. Not because it is, but because we've learned not to listen. Science, for all its brilliance, still can't map intuition. It can measure reaction, but not recognition. It can observe awareness, but not wisdom. Because intuition isn't data, it's dialogue between your consciousness and something vaster than you. Call it the universe, call it spirit, call it the quiet intelligence woven through all of life. It doesn't matter what name you give it. It only matters that you trust it. You can feel intuition's truth by its peace. Fear shouts, ego argues. Intuition simply says, "This way." And you know, when you follow it, life begins to flow again. Things align. Doors open without force. Coincidences appear like stepping stones. It's as if the universe moves with you, not against you. Perhaps intuition is the compass of the soul, the echo of your highest self guiding you, home through the noise of the world. So tonight, as you rest, listen for it. Beneath your thoughts, beneath your doubts, beneath the endless hum of reason, there it is, the quiet pulse of knowing that asks for nothing but your trust. It has guided you since birth. It will never lead you astray. It is the voice of life itself, speaking through your heartbeat, reminding you that even in uncertainty, you are already on the right path. Sleep deeply, knowing that the universe within you already knows the way forward. You don't need to figure it out. You only need to feel it and follow. The mystery of the soul, what lives beyond the body. There is something within you that doesn't change. Beneath your thoughts, beneath your name, beneath every version of yourself you've ever been, there is a stillness that watches, a light that endures. You've seen it in moments of awe, in grief, in silence, that quiet presence behind the eyes, the one who observes everything but is never touched by anything. What is that? What is the you that remains even as the body changes, even as time carries everything else away? Science calls it consciousness. Spirituality calls it the soul, and yet both circle the same mystery, the question of what it means to be. We can measure brain waves, but not awareness. We can observe thought, but not the thinker. We can describe memory, but not the one who remembers. The self is the most intimate thing we know, and the least understood. Where does it come from, and where does it go when we sleep? When we dream, when we die? No one knows for sure, but every culture, every era has felt its truth, that there is something in us that does not belong entirely to time. Ancient mystics said the soul is a spark of the divine, a drop of infinite consciousness, temporarily wearing the mask of a person. When you are born, it condenses into form. When you die, it dissolves back into the vastness from which it came. You do not gain a soul. You are one. And life, perhaps, is the soul's way of experiencing itself through touch and sound, through heartbreak and wonder, through the slow unfolding of a human story. The soul learns not by thinking, but by feeling, not by knowing, but by being. Even science, in its own quiet way, hints at something beyond. Energy cannot be destroyed, it only changes form. If consciousness is energy, if awareness itself is a field woven into reality, then perhaps it too never truly ends. The brain may act as a receiver, tuning in to the frequency of selfhood. When the body stops, the signal continues, just to broadcast on another wavelength. We may not yet have the tools to detect it, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Gravity existed long before we could measure it. So did electricity. Maybe the soul is simply the next great discovery, the invisible constant we've always felt but never proved. There are moments in life when the soul seems to rise to the surface, when something vast and familiar moves through you, in art, in love, in the moment before tears, in the quiet between breaths. You feel it then, that luminous awareness that has no beginning, no end. It speaks not in words, but in resonance, a sense of being home in your own existence. That's the soul remembering itself. It's not something you have to find, it's something you have to allow. Reincarnation may be one way the soul explores infinity, children recalling past lives with details they could never know. Familiar faces met in new contexts, as if love itself refuses to end. Science remains cautious, but the stories persist. Too many, too detailed, too haunting to dismiss completely. Perhaps the soul is not linear. Perhaps it lives in cycles, revisiting the physical world, like an artist painting the same scene in different light again and again until the masterpiece feels complete. Life, then, is not a single journey, but an infinite pilgrimage, one consciousness taking countless forms, each one another verse in the poem of eternity. And what of the afterlife? Every culture has imagined one, a heaven, a field of light, a river, a star road, a great returning. But maybe it isn't a place at all. Maybe it's a state, a return to pure awareness, unbound by body or fear. People who have touched death often describe the same thing. Not darkness, but warmth. Not absence, but connection. A sense that everything, even pain, was always part of a greater harmony. Maybe death is not an ending, but a remembering. A moment when the dreamer wakes. If the soul is real, then what is its purpose? Maybe it's simple, to experience itself through form, to love and be loved, to create, to learn compassion through imperfection, to see the divine reflected in ordinary faces. You came here to feel, to taste the bitter and the sweet, to laugh, to weep, to stumble and rise. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every quiet joy is a fragment of the soul's education. And one day, when this body is done, you will carry it all with you, not as memory, but as understanding. The soul doesn't fear endings because it's seen them before. It knows that death is only another sunrise from the other side of the horizon. You've been the sky, you've been the sea, you've been the star and the story. And now, for this brief moment, you are human, a spark of infinity learning what it means to feel small. But even your smallness is sacred, because it's through youth that the universe learns tenderness. So tonight, Let your thoughts drift like clouds and rest in that quiet knowing beneath them all. You are not your fears. You are not your past. You are not your body, nor even your mind. You are the stillness that watches both come and go. You are the light that shines through every version of you. You are the soul, ancient, curious, endless. Sleep deeply, remembering what you truly are. You were never lost. You were never alone. You have always been infinite, and you still are. And now, as the final ripples of thought fade into stillness, you can let go. The questions of science, the mysteries of the soul, they'll still be here in the morning. But for now, you can rest in the quiet space between knowing and dreaming. The universe is vast, but tonight, it fits softly inside your breath. Every heartbeat, a small echo of creation. Every exhale, a wave returning home. There is nothing more to figure out. No answers to chase. Only peace, the kind that hums beneath all things. You are stardust and silence and endless light pretending, for a while, to be human. So close your eyes and drift. The cosmos will keep spinning. The stars will keep watching. And somewhere in that vast stillness, you will find yourself again in perfect calm, in perfect wonder. Sleep well, and thank you for dreaming with us.